Hello, my name is host Eric, and I'm the host of Talking with Famous People. We've got an upcoming episode in which Mega Bro is going to be putting on the brain of the ENTP. So if you hear him practice occasionally in this video, it may happen or may not, I don't know, but that's what's going on. He's preparing himself to take on the role of insanity. Loose insanity rather than tight insanity. So anyway, speaking of insanity, let's talk about sleep deprivation. I got about 4 hours of sleep this morning, from about 5 in the morning till 9 a.m. or 9:30 or something, maybe 4.5. I didn't sleep the night before. So what day is it? It's Saturday. I slept 4 hours this morning from 5 to 9, and then I didn't sleep Friday night. And the last time I woke up on Friday morning. I haven't got a lot of sleep. Anyway, the point is, I'm not that tired right now, but I was tired at like 5 a.m. this morning, or earlier, like 3 a.m. I was really tired. I was really trying to get into the second night sleep deprivation. And in fact, I have a song called Second Night, which was written when I was up multiple nights. And a lot of people seem to think it's my best song. And the lyrics and the stuff, it says, it's the second night when things start to feel strange, and you're wondering if the range is on, sending sparks a soar to the kitchen sky. An actual night, is there no top to the dark of above the shelves, where she stores the chai, above the sleeping forms of vivid mind figurines, blah, blah, blah. So it's like you're tripping out on the second night, right? The lyrics of that song are whatever. I don't love them, but they're okay. But the tune and the chords to it are great. And like last night, when I was super exhausted and had no more resistance, I recorded a freestyle rap song called what to do when you swallow a nuclear weapon or something like that. And it was the thing is, the freestyle part, when I listened to it afterwards, I realized, I freestyled for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then it really came together about 5 minutes from the end of, well, that's why I stopped. When I stopped, it's like all the barriers fell down, and I was just really having fun and not thinking about it at all. And when I listened to it back today, I thought, well, you can really hear the introverted intuition parts of that. You can really hear the proper management of rapping parts that have words in them and a progression of the story, and then like musical lines, rather than so much narrative stuff. Anyway, the point is, I feel like a lot of times I do my very best stuff when I'm up for the second night in a row. And I suspect it's because I can't maintain any SI at all at that point. Like, literally, I'll say I won't be able to remember what I go into the kitchen for, even if I'm trying to. I will stand up to go get cigarettes like 6 different times before I realize, Eric, you're still trying to go get cigarettes, and you just sat back down and started doing something again. That kind of state. But the NE is unleashed. So, anybody else have experiences with sleep deprivation and creativity?
When I get similar things, like you said, at night, but also if it's an early morning, I'm in the shower and I haven't woken up, I get a lot of ideas when I'm in the shower, if I'm daydreaming, which happens a lot.
Well, I mean, you're probably not thinking about, like, now I shall put soap on this part of my body.
Yeah.
Now I shall turn the water off. Well, maybe that's how they do it in England.
We use tea bags as well.
I bet. Okay, anybody else have thoughts about creativity in general then? Because for me, it's a subject I'm obviously very interested in. I have myself as a guinea pig with intermittent results, in the sense that, sometimes I always enjoy trying to make stuff, Sometimes it comes out, whatever I'm making comes out really shitty. Sometimes it comes out really good. I don't know. It's hard to know how it's going to come out. But I think being a long way from sleeping helps.
Mm.
Okay. If there are no additional thoughts from the assembled group, I guess I would like to add the following before I end this, which is that's how it impacts me as an any SI axis as my main axis. I suspect the sleep deprivation impacts every type differently based on which, it has 8 different ways of affecting you based on which axis. Or maybe 16. I'm not sure, but it should be at least 8. So any SI should act the same, basically, to sleep deprivation. And SI, any should act the same. If I'm an ISFJ, I would anticipate that if I had sleep deprivation, it would be like my mom is now as she's starting to lose her head a little bit. You know, she just has no objective qualifier for her worry. She doesn't even bother like saying, no, I don't need to worry about parking the car on this street. It's fine. Yeah, it's right next door to a police station. We just don't park on the street, right? Like that kind of a thing. So I think that if you are sleep deprived and you're an SI person, you're going to have a lot less fun being sleep deprived than an NE person. I think the only type that probably really enjoys being sleep deprived are ENTPs and ENFPs. Now, there does come a point when I start to lose the ability to speak fluidly if I've been up for a long time. And you can hear it a little bit already. My manner of speaking is more halting slightly than it would otherwise be. Even though I got some sleep last night. I got 4 hours, like I said. That usually will be enough. But, you know, it's been a long 3 days or so, and the synapses just aren't firing quite as quickly, you know? But that's okay. I don't need... That's a skill that I actually don't... I can get by on like 10% of that skill if I have to. I'll sound like all like this, like that. But I can get my ideas across one way or the other. So I suspect that might be universal. The impact to language fluidity of sleep deprivation. I would anticipate that everybody has diminished fluidity in language. Although that could be wrong. I mean, hi JC. We're talking about sleep deprivation and the impact upon creativity, and then we sort of shifted away onto impact upon other things, language and stuff like that. I've noticed when I get too little sleep, my language fluidity diminishes. I'm not quite as smooth and as quick and as sharp in talking. But in contrast, my creativity in general increases, especially musical stuff. I'm more likely to come up with something really good when I haven't slept for a long, long time. So that's what we're talking about. JC, any thoughts on that? She says, I get slap happy. Yeah, I get slap happy too. It depends. Or I get frustrated.
Yeah.
I get slap frustrated.
I get slap happy, and then after that, I get a headache. And then I get irritable.
Irritable, yeah.
I get hyperactive.
Yeah. Well, that's the slap happy part. But then, like, after it keeps going on, then I start getting like a headache, and then it's like, just leave me alone. Like, seriously, leave me alone. Don't mess with me.
All right, let me ask you, Accenture Kim, if you identify with this, because this is a thinking process I had last night. So I finally finished that song like 5 in the morning, got the video made and everything, uploaded it, and I was going back and forth. I was going, you need to go to bed, Eric. Obviously, you're exhausted. But I really wanted to have a GoToMeeting right then, on the grounds.
Yeah.
And the conflict in my head was this. This is how it leaned towards the GoToMeeting. Is I said, oh, because I've been up so long now that if I would have GoToMeeting now, it wouldn't just be like, oh, you should go to bed. It would be like extra special because you shouldn't have it now. Do you have those kind of explanations? It wouldn't be a bad idea because it'd be extra special.
I guess so. I mean, with me, I do stuff when I'm really tired, like you say, and then I can't say no to it, or else I'll get too excitable about it, and I'll be restless. So I have to finish it, or I'm just kind of lying there in bed with creative urges.
So if somebody came over to your house and you'd already been up for 2 full nights, and they're like, "Eccentric Game, come on, we're going to an interpretive dance symposium."
Oh my gosh.
I could do that really well when I'm tired. Really well. I'm going to tell you now.
That's when I would most want to go to that. If I was like super exhausted, right? I'd been up for like 3 days. I've been up for like 3 days. I was
Interpret
like,
sleepiness.
"Fuck yeah,
Dance.
let's go to the interpretive dance symposium."
Well, I do that on my own anyway. If I'm that tired and I have an FI hit me as well, then yeah, I'll start doing that randomly.
See, I think the super tiredness it breaks down the resistance that goes, that's going to be a hassle. We're going to have to go all the way down there. And I don't even know if it's going to be that fun. All the sort of thoughts like that one might normally have. Like, I would probably pretty sure. I mean, if somebody came over here and was like, "Hey, Eric, it's me, Eccentric M. I came over from England. I'm taking you to an interpretive dance symposium," I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, let's go!" Right? But if it was just myself, like I have to work up the motive to go do shit like that.
Yeah.
And
So
when
I
went
guess
to the
you could
club-
say being tired is the alternative to alcohol.
Kinda.
It is. It's almost like being drunk. Because you can get, me, personally, I can get all sappy and emotional with people in that state as well. Well,
Yeah.
extra so.
Mm.
There are also two different kinds of sleep deprivation. The first kind being, shit, I haven't slept in 2 nights. The second kind being, I've been getting too little sleep for the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So that kind is the kind that tends to make me emotional. I start getting fussy and stuff. When I'm not exactly sleep deprived right this second, but I'm in general sleep deprived from not getting enough sleep for a while now. That's when I get annoyed and super like frustrated and stuff like that. Any other thoughts on sleep deprivation? It is a completely free and legal drug that anyone can do. All you have to do is stay awake for as long as you can.
I don't know if it's really I don't, because I get such a headache though. It's like, no. That's not a
Again,
good
it's like
feeling.
alcohol. Some people get headaches from alcohol abuse.
Oh,
It's
okay, I
alcohol
guess.
without the alcohol, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Because first I get slap happy, and then I get a really bad head, and then I'm like, leave me the fuck alone.
Do you know what gives me a headache is if I'm out for too long. Like, oh, we're going on an outing. Come on, there's like 4 or 5 people, and there's drive to one location, then drive to another location. I'm gonna be miserable after about a couple hours of that. Also getting a headache.
No,
and
that
shit
sounds
like that.
pretty fun to me, actually. Like,
Yeah.
I want to go on a road trip with your friends. That just sounds great.
It sounds uncontained at home. That's the problem with it. All those things you just mentioned aren't at home. So they should have about an hour-long window. Okay, I'm leaving the house. I expect to be back in an hour or 2, ideally. If I have to drive in traffic, I'm going to come back in a shitty mood. So,
It'd be boring.
but here's the thing. That's where the headache comes in. I don't get a headache from staying up too long, but I get a headache from going out too long. So maybe each type gets a headache for its own thing. What do you get a headache from, Eccentric M? Being hit in the head with a hammer?
Yeah, but actually, I used to get a lot of migraines as a kid, but not now. I think just emotional stress.
Are you subject to car sickness?
Car sickness. Yeah, I can get that. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I get emotionally stressed when I'm tired. That's what it is. That's where the headache. Well, no, the headache comes first, and then the emotional stress, because that's why I want people to leave me alone. I think.
The car sickness thing, I think, ties to not having SE conscious, maybe, or or being weak in SI, because I've heard a lot of ENTPs say they get car sick. Do you get car sick, Trenton?
Yes, occasionally. I've tried. It's actually I kind of enjoy it because it's like a science experiment. Like I go through a bunch of procedures to try to figure out if I can make myself unsick through some kind of original thing. Most of the time I'm like closing my eyes and trying to move my body in the exact motion of the vehicle. It doesn't work, but I think it will every time. All right, one second. I'm trying to build a space object here.
Okay.
Well, travel sickness, I heard it comes about when the body moves unexpectedly in a way it doesn't expect to go. So if you're looking out of a window the opposite direction to where you're turning, for example, that could be a promotion of car sickness. And if we are people who tend to think more rather than being in our immediate environment, perhaps that contributes to that.
I can tell you the actual scientific reason for it. I watched a video on it the other day. The
Inner ear, right?
it's well, when your body basically your senses have adjusted, and there's like a filter in your brain that your senses go through. And when you're in a vehicle or something, and your body is moving, but your sensory, the things you're looking at are not matching. Like so, basically, it's like to your body, it feels like your senses are uncalibrated because what you're seeing is different than what you're feeling. You know what I mean? So like when you turn and you're looking at a vehicle and everything's staying the same, your body's like, what the hell is going on? The senses are uncalibrated. And then basically your body thinks there's some kind of disease or pathogen where you've been poisoned, and it makes you, and it starts trying to fend off a virus by making you sick, like trying to regurgitate whatever you've eaten. It's like it's an evolutionary trait. You can look it up if you don't believe me. I promise.
I don't believe you. Listen, the thing is, my experience of car sickness is it goes through very specific phases. That makes good sense as your body is saying, oh, you must be poisoned or something, right? Because, number one, I always drive, so I don't usually get car sick because I don't get car sick usually when I'm driving. When I go to the mountains and I'm coming home, even in the mountains, I'm okay if I'm driving. But when I come home, if I come home after dark, then I get very car sick coming down the mountain because I can't see far. I can't see exactly where I'm going, you know. And that would be a senses calibration thing, I guess, is what you're saying. But I also know that there's a part of your body called the inner ear that has to do with equilibrium, and mine is very bad because like. It's one thing if I'm driving, okay, I can minimize the car sickness to almost nil as long as I'm driving. But God help me if I get on a fucking boat, because I've been on boats before, and every time I would gladly have had somebody kill me than sit on that boat any longer. It's the most miserable feeling in the history of the world. So I think it has to do with a couple things for me. One, being super non-visual anyway. Two, being in, so I'm not really attending to my S stuff. 3, having SI in the 4th slot means to the extent that I am attending to my S stuff, I'm doing it badly. And then 5, I think being tall and skinny already puts you at a disadvantage equilibrium-wise.
How do you manage driving? Because I don't think I'd ever be able to drive because I'd be distracted too much. I'd hit someone.
I go on autopilot. I don't know. I mean, when I'm driving, a lot of times I'm impatient, so I'm actually focused a lot on my driving. So I'm like, get the fuck out of my way, like that kind of stuff.
I'll end up daydreaming and running off the road.
You're daydreaming. See, what you need to do, Eccentric M, you need to develop an ongoing narrative of blame. What the fuck is wrong with you? You lean out the window like that. What the fuck is wrong with you? God! And that way you stay engaged in your driving at all times. You're very, very engaged.
Or you could say good day to everybody. That's still an engagement.
I mean, I daydream when I drive.
Remind me not to go in your car.
It's not like I mean, when people are in the car, I don't, because then I'm usually engaged with talking to them.
And then not
But-
looking at the road either way.
No, I'm looking at
You
the
just
road.
turn
I
all the
talk
way
about-
around.
No, definitely not. I mean, I've never been in like a accident or anything. I got into a fender bender one time, but that's like the extent of it.
I need to go back to making videos when I drive. When I made videos when I drove, I didn't get frustrated and impatient. I was focused on something else. When I am just driving, it doesn't matter if the radio's on or whatever, I have this ongoing list, like in my head. I keeping track of the people around me. If I'm on the freeway and I still have the same cars, there's that green truck up there again. I'm going to see if I can get in front of that fucker. He cut me off like 17 miles ago. Like,
Oh my god, the road rage is so bad.
but I mean, the thing is, it's not even road rage. It's frustration at people's retardation. Listen, all I'm doing is facilitating the flow of traffic. I wouldn't be frustrated if there wasn't any traffic. I don't mind driving when there's nobody else on the road. That's fine. And listen, I'm very fair about it. I only honk and yell at people who deserve it because they're going too slow. Or wasting time or being stupid, you know? People who are going fast, I don't honk at them. I don't have the racy kind of road rage where I need to race you. If you're going faster than me, I think, good, okay, you're cool, you're fine, you're not in my way. So, I mean, the thing is, that's Los Angeles too. It's just certain times of day. It's an absolute nightmare if you are an NE Dom because there's nothing you can do about it. Not a goddamn thing you can do about it except yell at people. And it doesn't do any good. I've been doing it for years. It still doesn't fix the traffic. Okay. What were we talking about? Is that the creativity one still? I'm on a tangent.
Sleep deprivation.
Oh yeah, sleep deprivation. If you deprive yourself of sleep, then you'll have a better time getting off topic.